last year helped Natural Baby Shower have a double-digit growth in their peak sales, so that was excellent, and we were super proud of that. We entered some awards and got quite a lot of recognition for that. And also, I think a lot of marketeers or didn't know how to do marketing.
So marketing is changing fast with AI and LLMs. Will there be new roles that will emerge and some roles that will disappear?
If I own a brand,
What happened after the travel company shut down? What did you do next?
we went all in on sort of e-commerce, helping e-commerce brands, and I suppose more recently our main focus now is on large Shopify brands, because Shopify is just coming like a juggernaut and eating up the whole of the e-commerce world, and we're like, well, can we ride on the shoulder of the giants as they grow, both from an agency point of view and also a technology point of view. We want to be famous for being excellent at supporting Shopify brands. And I'd say the larger Shopify brands again, so the Shopify Plus brands. And a lot of people think that Shopify is just for small, like mum and pop shops, but there is some serious brands on Shopify, some global brands was generating hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. So yeah, so we're all in on supporting brands on Shopify. We do work with brand. We do still work with travel. Some of our big clients are travel brands, but predominantly e-commerce.
That was all, what I was willing to ask. That what happened to the travel brands after they came back? Because post-COVID, the travel industry grew like there's no tomorrow.
Some didn't come back, so that they didn't survive. But then, yeah, others. So we work with a lot of ski brands. We work with quite a few cruise companies and railway holiday companies, and yeah, they've all come back. And I would say a lot of people who got are now after COVID, they wanted to go traveling again, and actually they did pick up, and demand increased, and people stopped spending money on their homes and their houses and wanted to spend more money on travel. So I think they had probably a post-COVID peak. But yeah, travel, especially in the UK, people spend a lot of time and money researching and planning and booking their summer holidays. It's a really important part of life because we don't get very good weather here. So we have to travel to get good weather, which is why I'm coming to India to go cycling.
But you are coming in winters.
Yeah, I know, but that's still hot for us.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like 5 to 10 degrees outside. So it's going to be like 25, I think. So even the coldest in India is like 25, isn't it?
Yeah, but then you're coming in December. December will be a little cooler.
Yeah, well, that's good. I'm cycling 100 miles a day, so hopefully won't be. Yeah, if it was
Probably
45
that's the
degrees,
reason you don't look old. You just said you're old, but you don't look so because of your
yeah, all
cycling
the
part.
cycling. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
75. Yeah.
What?
I'm joking.
Of course, of course, of course. I can't believe that.
So
40 should be still fine, but I won't believe anything more than that. Since you mentioned you are old.
yeah.
Okay. I won't ask your age. Don't worry out here. So, tell me something. I'm really curious about this. You say that you are making brands move in-house and your clients have almost as big team as yourself out here. And what does your team do? I mean, a typical digital marketing agency may have SEO specialists, website developers, video editors, graphic designers. What kind of people do you keep?
Yeah, so we have most of those. So SEO, PPC, paid social, conversion rate optimization. We have a lot of analytics people making sure all the tracking's working. We do a lot around conversion rate optimization. We have some designers. We also do a lot on programmatic ads. But I suppose our piece of where we are sort of fitting in is very much at the strategy and the planning level, and then making sure that the execution with our clients is exactly how it should be. So some of the team, they actually run and host and organize the weekly meetings or the monthly meetings at the client. So they're not managing these people from a one-to-one day-to-day point of view, but they're managing them in terms of like, right, this is what we're going to do next week. This is the strategy. This is where we're going. This is how we're going to help the client or help you grow. And then, right, you all need to do these things. So it's almost like this hybrid team approach where we're part of their team or they're part of our team, sort of thing. But yeah, in terms of disciplines, we cover all the usual disciplines you would expect in a digital marketing agency.
Got it, got it, got it. So you work with big names like Natural, Baby Shower, Great Rain. Can you share any particular project that you are particularly proud of?
Yeah, I think last year with Natural Baby Shower, they had a lot in certainly, well, I think it's the same in every country. There's seasonal peaks, and a lot of online retail this time of year, coming into Black Friday and then into Christmas, is the most important part of the year. So we last year helped Natural Baby Shower have a double-digit growth in their peak sales. So that was excellent, and we were super proud of that. We entered some awards and got quite a lot of recognition for that. And again, that's quite nice, a family-owned business, really great people. And then I suppose the other one at the other end of the scale is there was a and they've been bought. So there's a business called Cult Beauty, where a, a new leadership team was put in place to try and grow the business to sell it. And they sort of approached us through somebody I know, and he said, "Could you do an audit of the activity, an audit of the agencies, and then can you help me understand how we can unlock growth without spending a fortune? Because I need to go on this journey to a point where I want the business to be acquired." So we did all that. We assessed the agencies, we assessed the team, because that's something else we do is like we can help assess what the levels are and how can we help. So we did all of that. And Cult Beauty is a multi-million pound online beauty retailer. And we worked with them for quite a couple of years actually, and then successfully got them to a point where they then got acquired. And they got acquired by the Hut Group, who then actually wanted us to go and work with them, which was interesting and good. But the polite way of saying is we weren't culturally aligned with the Hut Group. So after some quite severe negotiations, we declined the business and moved on. I've got this other big thing. I want to work with people I like, and I want to work with people who are going to be nice to my team and respect the work that my team do. Because I think sometimes the agency client relationship can become a bit strange. And I think sometimes brands don't necessarily treat their agencies in the best possible way. So it didn't feel right for me at that point. So we declined the work and we moved on. But we achieved the objectives for our client. And that was a really exciting, and we're still in touch with the team, and we've still done different projects because a lot of them moved on. Because that's the other nice thing is when decision makers at clients move around, and you're the first person they call when they move to their new job, that's always a good testament to the work we've
So
been
their
doing.
in-house
And
team is doing marketing for you.
yeah, well, yeah, basically, yeah, that's good. Yeah, I hadn't thought of it that way, but yeah. So, and then other interesting projects we've done are around. So the big thing I think is often people don't do properly is measuring the overall impact of all your marketing, right?
Correct.
So you've got digital over here, you might have brand over here, you then might be sending catalogs over here, you might be doing some TV, you might be doing, and because they're all siloed in different departments, and because digital arguably is the easiest one to measure, they often take a load of the credit. What we've been working on with a lot of our clients recently is full sort of analysis using a lot of our data scientists and our algorithms to do a full marketing mix modeling across everything. So we can actually go, well, actually, when you advertised in the tube station, actually, we saw orders online go up, right? That is, we can prove the incremental lift. And that then gives people confidence. Because I think over time, lots of brands have got addicted to just buying traffic at the bottom of the funnel. And if you actually look at the cost per click, so I challenge anybody listening to this to look at their cost per click 2 years ago as an average across all their paid media, and now look at their cost per click, I would guess it's gone up more than 20%. right? So the winner there is Google, right? Brands are also getting pressure from the consumer to keep their prices low. The cost to manufacture has gone up. The cost to deliver has gone up with all the wars and the fuel costs and everything else. So the retailer in the middle is getting squeezed. And one thing we've been talking to people about is, well, actually, should you be investing more upper funnel and in to promote your brand or your proposition? So actually, they just come straight to you rather than having to fight over the clicks at the bottom of the funnel. And without the data, it's very difficult to convince a CEO or a CFO who's been used to
To
paying a
invest in
pound and getting
branding.
£10 back. Yeah. And should you be investing in out of home? Should you be investing in programmatic? Should you be investing more in video ads on YouTube and Facebook? And you need to be able to collate all that data into one place and be able to prove that it is adding incremental value and uplift and things. So we've been working a lot with our data teams, our platform. So that's something I'm super proud of at the moment because we can actually help teams prove to their budget holders why they should be investing in different channels. It was always relatively easy to go spend money on Google PPC, get money in the till. But I think we've become too reliant on that over time. And actually, it's we and also I think a lot of marketeers have forgotten how to do marketing or didn't know how to do marketing in the first place because we decided about 10 years ago that performance marketing is all about the maths guys. And actually, it's not about the creative guys. And the creative guys who are very good at brand or storytelling or copywriting, a lot of agencies don't even have those people, right? They've just got guys who are tweaking based on the maths, and they aren't. And then everybody's going, oh, but AI can do all my copywriting. So it can certainly help, but you've got to ask it the right questions with the right stories to get good outputs. So yeah, I'd say our ability to help people measure the effectiveness of all their marketing has been something I'm really proud of.
And right now, even Meta is removing all the targeting options and saying that you focus on the creative and copy, right?
Yeah. Although I've seen some car crashes of what their Meta AI is doing to people's ads, which is, I don't know how much of it is clickbait on LinkedIn versus reality. But if you think about, they call it like the doom scroll, people just scrolling, how are you going to stand out and how are you going to interrupt someone's day? You need a really strong story, message, impactful, creative. And I think many agencies have just been focusing on the numbers and the maths. And because the cost is getting more expensive, I think that's going to become really hard and isn't sustainable. So I do think brands should look at, and also I think the other thing they should be looking at is some people over time, and I don't know if you've seen this as well, got a bit scared about investing in SEO because Google were doing penalties and this was happening and that penguins and pandas and all this stuff. So a lot of people got a bit nervous about spending money in SEO. So some people stopped. Some people said, well, we're going to have a blog strategy. We're going to do this. They stopped doing digital PR. They stopped doing link building. And actually, what we've seen is a lot of the companies who paused all of that are struggling now in the AI overviews. They're struggling in the LLMs in terms of visibility. And I've been looking at some data recently. So I was presenting at a big conference in the UK and in America 3 weeks ago, and then a similar conference in the UK about is AI and all this LLM and AI search actually, is it the rebirth of SEO because it's focusing on discoverable content? And it's not just the content on your site, it's the content that mentions your brand or your product. And that fundamentally is digital PR, link building, brand mentions. And I think there's an argument. If you looked at your PPC spend and looked at your campaigns and looked at the diminishing return, so you're spending your pound, you're getting £10 back, you keep spending pounds, you might start getting £9 back for that pound, and then you spend another pound and you only get £8 back. Well, should you still be spending pounds? Right. And actually, if you're spending, I don't know, £100,000 or dollars a month, if you just took $5,000 out, you could actually get a lot of SEO work done for $5,000 a month rather than just
Correct.
giving Google the money. And would that put better foundations into your website to protect you for the future within the LLM models or the Google AI overviews? And I just think a lot of people don't think like that. So we've been trying to help both brands and agencies over time understand the data to position the story, because it's very fashionable at the moment to talk about SEO, AIO, GIO, all these different terms, but people need to build the business case to get the investment to do it properly. And my advice for anybody now is, well, you really need to analyze your PPC campaigns, which is made harder because of PMAX, because PMAX is just set to spend your money. And my view here would be, I've got two teenage kids, right? That's like putting them in charge of the sweet shop, right? So that's like, well, that's not a good idea, right? Um, Google is a for-profit business. And if you say my target is this and my budget is this, it's going to hit the target and it's going to spend your budget. It's not going to hit the target and spend half your budget, right? Because that's their. Whereas, so I think there's some new changes coming into PMAX which will give us more control. But I also think if you really dig into the data, if you did one thing next week, is go and look where you may be wasting money in your PPC, that you could take that click spend and invest in some expertise to support your SEO growth in the future, both now and for the future of what search is going to look like. But I think people are, and often the departments are different, right? Or the teams are different. You've got the SEO team and the PPC team. I used to have a funny story. We used to look after a big brand in the UK called Argos, and they're the second biggest online spender after Amazon in the UK. And when it was like peak, if the PPC team was missing it, they had a policy where they didn't bid on their own brand because they've already ranked, obviously, for their own brand. But if the PPC team was missing its target, it would just turn on an ad to bid on their own brand. And you could see the discussions between the teams going, "Why are you bidding on brand? You're stealing my traffic." But it's because they're in different teams and they all had different targets and different bonuses. So, but no, I think the future of all of this is about getting on top of measurement and looking at the upper funnel. But I think agencies will have to evolve and they need more creative people.
Correct. So marketing is changing fast with AI and LLMs. What do you think? Uh, will it? I mean, in marketing, will there be new roles that will emerge and some roles that will disappear
Uh,
with AI and LLM coming into place?
yeah. So there's two ways to look at this. So I can answer this question two ways. One is, how will marketers use LLMs to do marketing? That's one question. And then the other one is, if I own a brand, how do I make sure that my brand is visible in LLMs? Which we were sort of answering before. But I think what's interesting here is, if you asked your team, so if you've got a marketing team in a business and you said, right, how many of you are using LLMs with your job every day? 80+% will say, yes, I am. All right.
Hmm.
And they're probably using it in a personal account that's not paid for by the business. It may be free or it may be paid. That's a real question mark and a risk. There's probably no AI policy. They probably had no training. Well, we were part of I was talking at an AI conference recently, and there was only 68 over 80% of people are using LLMs, but only 16% of people have had any training, guidance, guidelines, policies. So there's this massive gap, and a lot of people are nervous about using LLMs at work because they don't know what they are and aren't allowed to do. So some people will be using LLMs and pretending they've done the work, right? And I think a lot of businesses need to have policies and procedures and training around, right, this is good and this is bad. But what we definitely see is a bit like film producing, the quality of the script, the quality of the story, the quality of the direction will indicate the quality of the final film. And that's very much the same when asking LLMs to help you with your marketing. And I think not enough people have had enough coaching, training, support with how to prompt, how to guide the prompts in the right direction, or how to then build agents to repeat that multiple times. So I think smart marketers can move faster, get ideas faster, I don't think it's going to replace marketing. I think it should turbocharge marketing. But I think if you're a marketer who's scared of it and thinks it's going to take your job, it probably will because you need to learn how to use it. And I often say is like AI won't take your job, but somebody using AI might, right?
Correct.
So it's the human plus AI and knowing how to get the best out of the AI. So I can't, I'm not a coder, right? I can't build applications, or certainly couldn't. Whereas now with Claude Code or with Lovable or with Replit, I can build things to demonstrate to my technical team what I'm thinking. Whereas before I'd write it on a whiteboard, I might do something in Figma, but now I can actually say, no, I think this is how it should look. And when you press that button, and then this happens, and then that happens. And I think the speed at which we can execute and ideate. And I think the other thing is, I think agencies should be upfront and almost have written on their website how they use AI, how they encourage to use AI, what that means for the client. Is it going to be we get more work for the same money, or we do the same work for less money? Like somebody got, or do
Correct.
we go do it, or do we improve the lives of all our team and give them a 4 day week, right? We already do a 4 day week. I was joking with my team. Well, if we use more AI, could we have a 3 day week? Um, but it's like I think
For
with
the
the
same salary?
AI, then,
For the same salary, you are doing that?
yeah. So our guys work 4 days for a 5 day salary. So, which means we attract the best people, we retain the best people, and for me, business is all about people, as I was talking about
Correct.
before. But going back to the question, I think the big thing for people to get how marketing is changing, I think it needs to be top down. So I need the CEOs, the CMOs, and everybody need to let the marketing teams and the marketing agencies know what is acceptable, what is okay, what isn't okay, and put in place some parameters, guidelines, and arguably pay for training and pay for the best tools. Um, but I think too much. It's a bit like the Wild West at the moment, and there's there is no policies, no procedures. And like the genie's out the bottle, right? You can't. It's like schools telling children not to use AI to do their homework is ridiculous. What we should be telling our kids is this is how you can become super smart using AI, and this is
Yeah.
how you can learn
Correct.
more faster, right? I think any smart kid will be just double checking the answers. Why wouldn't you? Right?
Correct.
Even with Alexa years ago, when my children were younger, they would ask Alexa the questions for their homework but because the technology's just sat there. So, but no, I think so for marketing teams, the ability to create content, ideas, go to market plans, scenarios, just means you can give yourself ideas and maybe topics that you hadn't even thought of to make you smarter. I don't think you still need a human to collate it all, present it all, and pitch it all and deliver it, or certainly manage the delivery of. And then for marketing brands, just like the internet didn't get rid of the high street, I don't think LLMs are going to get rid of SEO and PPC. I think it's just going to give consumers more choice of how they interact with your brand. But this is one prediction, Shan, or something I think may happen. Currently, if you're a brand and you sell things online direct to consumer, you need a website. So you've got a website, you've got probably a warehouse somewhere with some stuff in. Someone places an order on your website or on Amazon, somebody puts something in a box and it arrives at your house. I think soon with AI agents, so I might have an AI agent on my phone that says, go buy me a white pair of trainers, size 9, up to a budget of this. Blah, 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 blah. I want them delivered in the next week. Can you wait and get me the best price? I think you could have a retailer who has no website, who just has connections to everybody else's personal AIs and is servicing the data via some sort of product feed direct from the warehouse. So they have no shop, they have no website, but they just take orders. Almost like you have the
There is a
dark, like the
AI
dark
browser
west.
who's already trying to do this.
Yeah. And you can put your Shopify feed into OpenAI in America, right? So if you've got a feed but you don't have a website, are you an e-commerce business? And it's a bit like there are kitchens around the world or restaurants around the world that operate on Uber Eats that don't actually have a restaurant. They just have dark kitchens that just send out food. I think that's going to be, and then your cost to run your business is a lot less. And I think we will start seeing brands doing that.
Got it, got it, got it. If you're advising a CMO today, what's one AI-powered experiment they should start doing tomorrow?
Good question. Experiment going forward. Well, I would say they need to experiment with video ads because I think a lot of CMOs think that video is too expensive to script, design, produce, execute, publish. I don't know if you saw the Keishi ad that was run during the NBA Finals in America. If you haven't seen it, Google it. Go to YouTube, put Keishi AI ad. That's KASHI AI ad. And the whole thing was done with two people, a relatively small budget, and AI. I think most of it was done with Google VO3, I think, for a fraction of the cost of if you asked a film company to do it. And you can tell it's done with AI in certain areas, but it's impactful and is a showcase of what could be achieved. So I think if you brief, script, and put together the
Generate.
scenes, I think I don't think if you're a product company, I don't think you should be recreating your product in AI. But maybe if you're a services company or an experiences company or a B2B company, you could maybe tell a story with AI, have a video ad, and then you could push that. And maybe you just create video content using AI, see what gets traction organically, and then put budget behind it. Because now you know, well, people are interacting with that. If we put some budget behind that, we could put it in into other channels. So I'd say, but what I would say though, Shayan, is actually have a go and a play yourself, right? Because then you will see the potential rather than going, can you have a play in the corner? Come back to me. So if you ask your video creative team to go and use AI to create video, they will come back with 10 reasons why it's not as good as them. It's like getting the turkeys to vote for Christmas, right? That is just not a good idea. Um, but I think if you can showcase what's possible, so I think video is going to become a lot more accessible and quicker and easier to do. But I don't think it becomes less creative. I still think you're going to need script writers and producers to do it
Correct,
properly.
correct, 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 correct. Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, video.
Right now, even most of the some of the companies, what they're doing is previously when the founders or somebody from the team used to come and record in front of the camera. Now they're creating AI avatars and then asking it to record.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that
yeah,
saves
yeah.
time of the founder,
Yeah,
because
the
then
other
if he's lazy to record
the
videos.
best AI gadget tool or anything I'm using at the moment is a speech to text app on my phone and my laptop called Whisperflow. Because I'm not very good at writing long emails or explaining. I normally just say, call me, well, I'll explain it over the phone. Whereas I can just talk to my phone and it will write, and it's brilliant. It gets rid of all the ums, the ahs, gets the context, gets the punctuation. And also I've been coding using Claude Code, using my voice, just talking to the computer. And in terms of time and effort saved, is huge. You can
Whisper and
talk a
Claude.
lot faster. Yeah, Whisperflow it's called, and then Claude AI together. Brilliant. Game changer.
Got it, got it. I'll try that and give you feedback very soon.
Yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing what you're going to build.
Most agencies chase growth at all cost, whereas Modo 25 is selective about their clients. Why is less but better your approach? And how is it helping you?
Good question. I would say it's not necessarily less. it's the right type of clients. So a bit where it's for me, a lot of agencies will just say yes, 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 we can do it, sign up anybody, and then you will have a strange relationship. You might not be able to. I've seen hundreds of agencies over my life where they go in, promise the moon on a stick, someone up for sign up this contract and promise, and then they sign a 12-month retainer for SEO or PR or whatever it is, and then they're constantly backpedaling, explaining, oh no, no, well it works like this. It's going to take 3 months, 6 months to get going, and then so they're spending 6 months selling this story, and then the last 6 months the brand's like, maybe they don't know what they're doing, or they've oversold us. So my big thing, we do a lot of performance contracts as well. So, which again is unusual. We'll say, look, this would be a retainer to go and do our services and move in house, but why don't we half the retainer and we'll put the other half onto a performance model? But if we agree the targets and we over deliver, we expect more. And then if our guys have got any spare capacity, they can then go and work on the ones where we've got some upside, which makes complete sense. We're all then rowing in the same direction. And for me, yeah, it's not about all clients at all costs. It's about the right clients with the right sort of work at the right value, where and then they're likely to be the best clients who stay longer. They work with the team better. They will push us. We can push them. Um, so yeah, we do turn away opportunities because they don't feel like the right clients. And yeah, and we don't just chase the wrong type. We were very particular. But then that's because I've done this before and I've learned the hard way.
What's that? I would say the most outdated marketing belief that you think businesses should unlearn immediately.
Uh
Is it buying traffic?
yeah, I think so really bold companies could turn off their PPC and see what happens. I just
Which
turn it off.
companies?
No, like so. I think buying traffic PPC it's a become right. It's a bit like an addiction, right?
Got it.
I think people have just got. And if you went into a boardroom of a brand uh, and said how much this is, so if you looked at the profit and loss account of a big brand, they'll have like stock, people, rent and rates, media spend will be in the top 5 or 10 spends, right? They will advertising spend, right? And of that advertising spend, a lot of that will be with Google and Facebook. And I imagine if I was the FD and I said to the marketing director, how much money should we be spending on Google? Right? That's a different question to how much are we spending, right? And people's perception is spending more with Google is good because we will get more in the till. But going back to that thing about diminishing returns, and actually, are we now getting less back per dollar or pound or invested? Um, so I think the key question is, and then the CMO probably goes and says, I'll go ask my agency, how much should we be spending with Google? They'll go speak to their agency who will phone up Google, and then Google will go, oh, you need to be spending more. Because I've never been to a meeting with Google where they said, oh, you need to spend less money with Google, right? That's just not a thing, right? So, and it's the same. I've never been to a meeting with Google who said, go spend some money on Facebook because that'll help you build your brand and build your upper funnel. Or they've said, go spend some money on print or out of home. So I think having some transparency and um, I think, so I think we've all become addicted to PPC, and I think you need to do some tests around turning bits of PPC off and seeing what impact it has, and then does that free up budgets to do other things? Because the amount of money that gets spent with Google now compared to marketing budgets in the past is phenomenal. So yeah, I think, and then I suppose the other thing people should, I say slightly different questions, but something I think is a misunderstood is people think it's like really expensive to do TV. And actually now with connected TV and the way you can buy connected TV, and if you're going to produce an ad in the way we were talking about, maybe with the help of AI, not just using AI, but with the help of AI, the cost from here to having an ad on TV is not ridiculous. It's not tens and tens of thousands of pounds or hundreds of thousands of pounds. You can do it for thousands of pounds, and you're going to get in front of a lot of eyeballs really quickly because uh, certainly in the UK and America, a lot of people's TVs are now connected TVs, connected to the internet. People are streaming via some sort of app. So the targeting that you can do with that is similar to the targeting you could do in Facebook or Google. So, and I think people just think, I'm not even going to look at TV because it's too expensive.
It was probably after AI, it's becoming cheaper.
Yeah. The AI and the targeting and the impressions, everything is cheaper now. All right. And
Correct,
also the measurement is better.
correct, 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 correct. So, as we are moving towards the end, tell me who or what has influenced your leadership the most?
Oh, that's okay. That's a good question. So I would say my dad. My father was a big influence on me. He just seemed to work really hard and was all about leading from the front and work ethic. Um, so don't ask people to do stuff you're not willing to do yourself. So I think that's really important in business. Um, I'd also say um, I've been very fortunate to have lots of good managers over my time and leaders in different jobs and different careers. And some of those have been very influential. So a chap called Simon Worth and Tony Bickford, they built a great business. And I was just like, one day I want to build a business like the business they built. Um, and that's what I'm trying to do now. I've also had some terrible managers. And I think uh, and I think what what you've got to bear in mind in life and business is what can we learn from the people we didn't enjoy working from, about how we're not going. So when we set this business up, I got the people who I started the business with all in a room, and I said, right, what are the 10 things we are absolutely going to do, and why are we going to do them, and why? What's the rationale and logic? And then also, what are the 10 things we're not going to do,
We're
and
not gonna
why?
do.
What's on the not to do list? Um, and I think some people often don't think about that. And it's like I'm a big believer in business. If you empower your team, treat your team with respect, give them the right tools, the right training, they will. People come to work because they want to do a good job. I don't know many people who come to work because they want to do bad work, right? But they might end up doing bad work if you treat them badly, right? Whereas and I think that if you treat people like children, they'll behave like children. If you treat them like professionals and give them hard problems to solve and the right tools and the right training and the right support, they'll be excited and inspired to do that. Um, but yeah, I've been very fortunate. I've worked with some great people, but I've also been very fortunate. I've worked with some terrible people. I've learned I'm never going to do that, if that makes sense.
Of course, of course, of course. So, outside of business, cycling, Leeds United, even aspiring to fly,
Oh,
how
look,
do
here,
these
here.
passions?
That's this is our vision wall here in the office, right? This is half of it. Right. This is all about giving back and doing stuff for other people, right? And this is the Leeds United football ground, and this is all about we've all got to have passions in life. And this is I want to well, maybe we won't buy the whole football club, but I want to sponsor the stand or sponsor the team at some point. So this is actually written on the office wall behind my desk. So but anyway, sorry, I interrupted your question.
No worries, no worries. So, how have these passions shaped your mindset as a leader?
So I think for me, we talked about it before. You've got to keep busy and you've got to enjoy what you do. And I suppose you also need to incorporate as much stuff into your work. So some people go, right, we want work-life balance and a complete split, right? And that is fine for some people in some things. Whereas for me, I and a lot of people say you shouldn't work with your friends, but some of my best working relationships are with my friends, or with they started off as a working relationship and then we've become really good friends. So I met most of my investors either cycling or skiing, right? So, and different business partners over time, clients, because I think business is a personal game and it's a human game. And I think sometimes people forget that people buy from people and buy into people. And some of that comes from like those energies and relationships. And also, some of the best conversations I have are when I'm talking about cycling or when I'm talking about Leeds United. And some of the best relationships I build are doing that. But I might be talking to the CMO of a global brand, and they're a Man United fan, and I'm a Leeds United fan, and we can talk about football, um, and we build that relationship, and that sort of transcends boundaries rather than me just talking about SEO and PPC all the time. So I think
Of
it's
course.
about building that human connection, and encouraging others to be themselves in business and understand about building relationships.
Got it. Got it. Got it. So, for entrepreneurs listening who have faced failure, what's your best advice for bouncing back stronger? Coming to the
Oh,
last
so
question
yeah,
for the day.
yeah, I've had failures. Don't worry, we've had plenty of those. Um, I would just say, yeah, pick out what you can learn. What aren't you going to do again? Uh, and people's memory is short, right? So, and actually, you might think it's a disaster and a catastrophe, but people won't remember. And also people will probably respect you for having a go, I think, especially in America and other. I think the Brits are still a bit like a bit stiff upper lip and a bit too serious sometimes. But in America, well, at least you had a go and well done for having a try. Um, but I would just say better to have tried and failed than never to have tried at all.